Hello students, myself SVS. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to start a new lesson. The title of the lesson is The Thief Story. Who is the author of the story? Ruskin Bond. He was born on 19 May 1934 and you see that he is an Indian author of British descent. He lives with his adopted family where? In Landour, Missouri, India. See, he had won several awards for his writings like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Sahitya Akademi Award. This award, Sahitya Akademi Award, was given for his children's literature. See, which are his important writings? His important works are Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra, A Flight of Pigeons, The Blue Umbrella. See, before going to the story, let us examine what is the central theme or central idea of the story. The central idea of the story is human values and relations in life are more important and that can change a person. So human values and relations can change a person. So here in this story there are two important characters. One is Anil and another one is a thief himself. Here the thief is the narrator and he named himself as Harrison. Dear students, let us go through the story now. I was still a thief when I met Anil. He says that when he met Anil that time also, you see, he was a thief. And though only 15, what was his age? He was 15 years old. And though he was 15 years old, he was very experienced and fairly successful hand. That means he was fairly good at stealing. Though he was 15 years, he was very much experienced and good in what? Good at stealing. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. So when he approached Anil, what was he doing? Anil was just watching a wrestling match and he was about 25. Now we get a small description about Anil. See, he was 25 years old and tall as well as a lean fellow. Lean means thin. He was a thin fellow. And he looked easygoing. Easygoing means relaxed. He looked very relaxed and kind and simple enough for my purpose. Simple enough. That means he looked relaxed and a simple person or an innocent person for his purpose. What was his purpose? His purpose was to steal Anil. So for that purpose, he thought that he is an apt fellow, a suitable fellow. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. Confidence means trust. You see that the thief had not committed any theft in the past few days. And because he did not get many chances. So he thought that Anil would be a better person for his purpose. That means in order to steal things from. So first of all, he wanted to take Anil into his confidence or into his trust. So he approached him and he asked, you look a bit of a wrestler yourself. You look like a wrestler. You look like a bit of a wrestler yourself, the thief said. A little flattery helps in making friends. You see that a little flattery. Flattery means excessive and insincere words that can make friends. So if he uses some flattery or some high words about somebody, we can very easily make friendship with that person. So do you, he replied. So immediately Anil replied, yes, you also look the same. Which put me off for a moment. Actually, this reply of Anil made him little bit upset. Put him off for a moment. That means made him little bit upset because at that time he was rather thin. He did not have a figure of a wrestler. So his words that you also look like a wrestler made him little bit upset. What to speak to him? What to say to him? Well, I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. Then immediately the thief said, yes, I also do a little bit of wrestling. What's your name? Then he said, Harrison. I lied Actually, it was not his real name. He lied his name as Harisi. I took a new name every month. See, very cunning he is. Every month he took a new name. What was the purpose of taking or adopting a new name? That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. So you see that in order to escape from the police and also his former employees, he adopted a new name every month. So in order to save himself or escape from the police as well as the former employees, so he was going on changing his names. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well-oiled wrestlers who were grunting. And you see that afterwards, Anil immediately started to talk about well-oiled wrestlers. Okay, and they used to grumble, or we can say that make low sound, lifting and throwing each other about. You might have seen in the TVs, okay, in the channels. And they used to lift other wrestlers and throw them on the ground. And he started to talk about such wrestlers whom we could be seen on the TVs. And I did not have much to say. Anil walked away. I followed questioning. So the thief did not have much to say about them because he did not have much knowledge about such wrestlers. So Anil walked away. And what did the thief do? He also followed him casually. Casually means in a normal way, normally. Hello again, he said. Oh, again you are following me. Hello, he said. I gave him my most appealing smile. Appealing means very attractive smile. So immediately I gave him a very attractive smile. I want to work for you, the thief said. I want to work for you, but I can't pay you. But immediately Anil replied, but I can pay you. I have no money to pay you. I thought that over for a minute, perhaps I had misjudged my man. So immediately the thief thought that he had misjudged this man, or we can say he had a wrong impression or a judgment or opinion about this man. I asked, can you feed me? Because in the first appearance he thought that he is a rich fellow and he is rich enough to give him some job, and also he might have got a lot of money in his hand, and the thief, he can, yes, steal him. But now he thought that he might have misjudged this man. I asked, can you feed me? I asked, can you feed me? Can you cook? So do you know cooking? I can cook. I lied again. He said again, it was a lie. Yes, I can cook. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. Okay, if you can cook, I can give food to you. I can feed you. He took me to his room over the Jumna street shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. So poor man Anil had taken him to his apartment and asked him to, yes, sleep in the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. See, that night he cooked the food for Anil, but he did not eat even a little bit of it. He could not eat it because it was not at all tasty. So what did he do? Anil gave that food to stray dogs and asked him to go and sleep. And told me to be off. That means told him to move away or go away. But I just hung around. But the thief did not move away from there. What did he do? He remained there, smiling in my most appealing way, and he could not help laughing. So he remained there when he was asked to move away from there, go away from there. He remained there just smiling in an appealing way. That is in a requesting way. Please. This way he remained there. And at last, Anil cracked into a laugh. That means he could not help laughing. He started laughing. Later, he patted me on the head and said, never mind. Then he touched the thief's head very gently and said, never mind, no problem. He could teach me to cook. He said he would teach him to cook. He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentence and to add numbers. See, and he taught him how to write his name, and also told him he would teach him to write the full sentences and also to add numbers. So he was very much grateful, thankful to Anil. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. So thief knew very well, Hari Singh knew very well that once he learned how to write and read like an educated person, there was no limit for his achievements. That means he could achieve many things in his life. There won't be any limit for that, he thought. It was quite pleasant working for Anil. So Hari Singh says that it was really a happy thing for him to work for Anil. He was very happy to work for Anil. I made the tea in the morning. That was his routine business. Every morning he prepared tea for him, and then he would take his time buying the day's supplies, usually making a profit about a rupee a day. And what was his other day's business? Morning he prepared tea for him, and afterwards he went to the shop for purchasing the grocery items. And every day he made 1 rupee or a rupee, of profit. Then the thief pocketed that money. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he did not seem to mind. I think the thief says that actually Anil knew that every day he was making some profit after purchasing the things for him, but he did not mind. He thought, let him take. Such a way he thought. Anil made money by fits and starts. Fits and starts, that means irregularly, or we can say unsystematically. And you see that Anil, how did he make money? Dear students, it's an important part. Often question comes from here. Questions come from here. Anil made money by fits and starts. That means he made money not in a regular basis, or we can say he made money by doing different activities, or we can say he did not have a fixed job. He would borrow 1 week, lend the next. So he would borrow money from others, and next week he gave it to others or lend it. He kept worrying about his next check. So always he was worried about his next check. But as soon as it arrived, as soon as he got the check, what did he do? He would go out and celebrate. He went outside and he celebrated with his friends. It seems he wrote for magazines a cure where to make a living. So he made money by writing for articles in magazines also. Really, his life was a strange. That means his life was a cure way, a strange way to make a living. One evening he came with a small bundle of notes, saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. So one evening Anil came with a bundle of currency and told to the thief that he sold his book to a publisher, and from that he earned that income. At night I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. So the thief noticed that at night he tucked the money, or he kept the money, or pushed the money under the mattress. I had been working for Anil for almost a month, and apart from cheating on the shopping, had not done anything in my line of work. You see that he had already there for a month. That means he had been there working for Anil for almost a month. And apart from getting that 1 rupee daily, he had not done anything in his line. That means in his line of work. That means in his work of steal. I had every opportunity for doing so. Actually, he had a great opportunity to steal his things. Why? Because Anil had given me a key to the door, and I could come and go as I pleased. Because Anil had given him the key of all the doors. At any time, he could enter the house or any rooms, and also he could close the rooms. He was the most trusting person I had ever met. So none of the former employees trusted Hari Singh. And the first time he had such an experience. He was the first person, the most trusting person that thief had ever met. and that is why it was so difficult for him to rob him. Very important. So it was very difficult for him to rob him because he was the first person who had trusted him in such a way. So it is easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. So he says that it is easy to, yes, rob a greedy man. Why? Because he can afford to be robbed. Because he is capable enough of robbing. But it is difficult to rob a careless man. But to rob a careless man, that is really difficult. Sometimes he does not even notice he has been robbed, and that makes all the pressure out of the work. Why? Because sometimes, yes, a careless man, he will not come to know that he had been robbed. And after stealing the money from him, so there won't be any satisfaction of the work. That means there is no fun left in robbing, and such a man. Here, Anil was a careless man, so he never thought of robbing Anil. Well, it is a time I did some real work, and you see that it was the time for him to start some real work. I told myself, the thief said to himself, I am out of practice. That means he was not regular in his work. He was out of practice. And if I don't take the money, he will only waste it on his friends. And one more reason was there. If he did not take the money of Anil, he would have spent that money with his friends. He would have wasted that money with his friends. After all, he was not paid for a long time, almost 1 month. Dear students, I hope all of you understood this part very well. So we will discuss the next part in the upcoming video. So thank you for watching it. Please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thank you very much.